Ok, siamo qui con Tal Catran e vorrei fare delle domande ora è qui con noi. So, hello. As you founded so many accelerators in Israel, I would like to ask you first, what's an accelerator? What's an accelerator and why so many projects?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me here in beautiful Maratea and a very exciting Heroes Festival. Regarding the question, well, accelerators are a short period of a program, meaning like 4 or 5 months, where entrepreneurs get a lot of skills and help with their startups. They're taught during lectures and workshops how to actually build up their startup, how to become a better CEO. It's about different elements of marketing, of let's say legal stuff, about lean startup, and other skills that every startup guy needs to have. Accelerators in general were my recommendation, of course, after established several of them in Israel, one in India actually called Collaborative Intelligence very lately, and I'm on the board of several others in Barcelona, in Poland, in Warsaw, in Romania, in Cluj-Napoca. I see this program as something very essential for startups to be more successful. It's a kind of an ecosystem where you have people like yourself, same startup like you, with the same problems like you, getting educated about how is best to do it, or get a lot of answers for many questions that every startup has. So I see a great relevancy in of course, I recommend startups to look for the right accelerator, then join it, and hopefully be successful.
And I'd like to ask you, as Israeli startups ecosystem is very wide and developed, can you explain why? Do you know why in comparison to Italy, for example?
I thank you for the question. I think it's a very interesting and important question, and I get it quite a lot because the world knows that Israel is considered a startup nation. We have about 6,000 working startups. We raise tons of money. We're talking billions, and we do a lot of exits. And just last year, we made over $10 billion of exits. I think that part of it is our demographic, if you want, situation, the fact that we are a fighting country. We need to be self-reliant and self-sufficient. We can rely mostly on ourselves. That in a way drives you to innovate and to create by yourself for yourself. Second, of course, is the fact that we have an army. Okay, and while you have an army and the army is becoming more and more technological, part of what the army does is pushes towards creating and inventing more and more technologies. But going back, the fact is that since we can really rely on ourselves to develop the technology for ourselves, also the fact that we're not a kind of a people that wait for tomorrow. When we see an opportunity, we grab it right here and right now. We don't believe much in waiting for tomorrow. I think that in a way drives us, first of all, to be innovators, which translate to many startups, very technological ones, and I think also being very successful. Saying this, we still have a problem. Our problem is a market. Our market is not that big. This is why when we see a country that offers us to be a channel to, let's say, through Italy to Europe, we are very interested. And when we say interested in sharing, it's not just sharing the technology itself, but also the know-how. And this is why I'm here. I came to Heroes just to share my personal experience and knowledge, which I accumulated in Israel, but also around the world. I gathered all this, and to share it with your ecosystem of startups.
So, as you worked with a lot of countries, you would like to work with Italy too. And what kind of advice would you give to Italian startups?
Every startups in a early stage would rely, let's say, and first of all, of course, finding a good idea, okay, something, a need that is shared by many. Second would be the need for a good team. And third would be money. What I heard during yesterday and today is that Italian investors like to invest in a later stage, meaning the technology is quite developed already. It's matured. Some of them say, I want the startup to have customers. That is very difficult for a startup because in the first stage, funding is difficult. Most founders, let's say it honestly, are poor for money. And this is the important stage, the critical part, where they need someone else to believe in them. When investors say, yes, but it's too early for me, they get stuck. They're not going anywhere. What I want to say is that this ecosystem, meaning the players, which would be the academy and the industry, municipalities, government, okay, and of course finance, needs to come up with a solution. Our solution was the government. The government is not looking for exits. The government looks on, let's say, in a higher view, on the nation. The government can give the money for those early stage, like it's done with Israel. And I was very hoping to meet some government officials and discuss it. Maybe not here, maybe not today, hopefully in the future.
And what does innovation mean to you? I'm very curious.
Let's say people turn to me and say, listen, what is a startup, for instance? So why is it different than a small business? I'm saying my own opinion, personally. A startup or innovation, in my eyes, needs to be technology. We all rely on technology. Sometimes we don't really understand, but technology has a lot to do with who we are. In the past, many years ago, people were a bit held back because they had maybe good ideas, but technology was not there to support the good ideas. Things have changed. Now technology is much more developed even from what we think about, or the ideas that we come with are now in a way behind technology. So innovation for me would be out of the box thinking, disruptive ideas, okay, that really make a difference in our lives, making them maybe easier, more social, more fun in a way. It has to do with education, finance, cyber, IoT, Internet of Things, drone, 3D printing. That's innovation for me.
Last question. What's your impressions on Heroes Festival?
I met Heroes actually in Israel through Tatiana, and I helped as much as I could to expose this event in Israel. And I was very, interested to learn that most of the activity in India, in Italy, actually happens in the north of Italy, not in the south. And this initiative of bringing this innovation, development to the south is something I can relate to. I think is very, very important. I myself think, first of all, they've done a great job, okay, until now. A lot of events, a lot of workshops, very interesting people, lots of topics. And, of course, I congratulate them for this. I like it very much. Of course, I love the beautiful Maratea. Okay, the spot is amazing. And I love the people that I've met, young people with a lot of motivation. I wish you all luck. And I hope really in the future to get more engaged and help with my personal experience.
Thank you. And good luck to you. Thank you very much, Tal Catran.
Perfetto.
Grazie.
Mille.
How do you say?
Toda.
Toda.
Toda rabba. Grazie mille.
Toda rabba.
Was easy.
Yes, easy.
Not
I can start learning.
now you want someone serious from the ecosystem. You have Tal.
Do you want?
Yes.